Well, hello and welcome to PM Express. Happy Monday to one and all. And today we are looking at state of emergencies and emergency response. Not necessarily from the state, but from you and I as civil citizens. What do we do? How can we help in case of emergency? What numbers do we call? What first aid do we apply? Should you see a fire? Should there be an accident? Should somebody collapse? If somebody has a fit, heart attack, stroke? In case of emergency, we seem to be extremely helpless. And in the cases where we are helpful, we tend to cause even the more damage, where we just grab an individual, whack them at the back of a pickup and rush them off to hospital, probably damaging his spine even before the accident. And this is all because just recently, last weekend, right at Akukuvuto in Dansoman here in Accra, fire that burnt 5 occupants. A house owned by a pastor who was out doing God's work. He's left at home a wife and child and mother-in-law and other occupants. And somehow a fire starts and just burns everybody to a pulp. Neighbors heard the screams. They heard the screams until the screams just vanished and they were all burnt down. What could they have done? Could they have broken in? Should they have called the fire service? Was there anything at all they could have done, or was that the fate of the occupants of the house? And that's where I want us to broaden this conversation. Should you come, meet an accident on the road, what do you do? Is there any first aid that we can do? If you see fire in particular, what number do you call and what do you do to probably slow the fire down? If it is safe to do so, what can you do? It's such a tragedy, and I don't know how this pastor is going to carry on life. It's 3-month-old baby and a wife just bent down to a pulp. It's such a shame, and that's what we are discussing today. But I want to say condolences to Professor Tukoyokan, to His Excellency Emisarata. I want to say condolences to the Honorable J.H. Mensah and Busumuru Kofi Annan. We lost 4 gallant men in this nation, and we say rest in peace to their souls and to their families. May you find peace with the Lord. My name is Nana Ansakwa, the 4th Chief of the Little Republic of Akwamodu-Masan. When I come back, talking to a long-lost brother with regards to emergencies, justice keep on caring. What do we do? Don't go away. Well, thank you very much. The story even started before it starts, and I have in studio Nanaya Akwada, who is no stranger to this show, but I think I have to say Afishiapa. It's been that long. I can say Afishiapa. He's an executive director, Bureau of Public Safety. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
Nana, this is such a tragedy. Anyways, probably want to say condolences to Kofi Annan's family and to us all. As far as, when you become so big, you don't become a family property anymore. Now you become a national, literally a black icon. So everybody who's black skin, you need to plug into the success of such a man.
Yes, I think this evening, as I took my shower to prepare for this place, I think it was one of the things that struck me, that we've lost such a gem. Definitely the world is a stage. Some will come and some will go. But I'm particularly struck by Mr. Annan's demise, Kofi Annan's demise, because it was during his tenure that the United Nations actually came up with these sustainable development goals, which today a lot of people, like we say in Twi, amount for Sahun Kwai. A lot of people are benefiting of this just for the greater good of the world. And so he is a man that we all revere and will really miss him. We look forward to Ghana raising such people on the world stage to drive our names far and to also make very positive impacts on our world. May his soul really rest in peace.
Definitely.
And I want to quickly tie that in with J.H. Mensah. Honorable J.H. Mensah, also very, if you like, very significant personality in our politics. It was after his death that I really appreciated his contributions to Ghana. I used to see him as just a politician. I saw him, I think, sometime in 2001 when there was this transition. That was when I first heard of J.H. Mensah, and I saw him. But after his death, I heard so much that I couldn't believe it. And I think that if his kind can do it, then in our time, we have even more better playing field to influence our generation.
Great. And I must say, I was shocked when I heard that Kofi Annan was 80. I didn't realize he was such an elderly man. He looked so fine.
Yes, I think in his last days, I saw most of the times they would assist him.
Oh, okay. I never saw that.
Yeah,
okay.
Getting off the plane and going on the plane. Then I knew the man has come to.
Okay.
He needed really time, but as good as he is, the United Nations itself really wanted to make full and good use of him. At that frail age, I saw he could barely walk on his own, but he was in war zones brokering peace. In fact, when I heard his demise had occurred in Switzerland, at some point I was very angry, only to learn that he had gone there for treatment. I thought he was on his United Nations assignments. I was like, why wouldn't they let this man have his peace? But Nana, all of us must prepare for this. This after I was in an office of a very well-respected doctor, very, very old, and he was counseling us, and he said, well, now they can no longer do so. They will help with their wisdom and their everything. And I knew, right there, I knew that if you prove yourself worthy of your sort, the world can never let you go. Just to tie that, I watched you and your uncle when you sent me the link, KSM. KSM is one of the nicest guys to that. We hope that he doesn't depart the world soon, because we really need him here.
No, he'll stay long. He hasn't got a choice. I'll plead on his behalf to go. He will stay. But let's come back to Dansoman, this SDA pastor who's out on a mission, left family at home. Hopefully, the ideal situation is you come and everything is fine. They are going to sleep and the whole family just burns.
Nana, in honor of Mr. Kofi Annan, or as Dr. Kofi Annan, as he came to be known, I'll try to sound as diplomatic as I can, because I was so charged since I heard the news yesterday. This should not be happening. At worst, if it happens, it should not be taking so many lives down the drain. Why? Because we've seen this before. We've seen it in several other places. I think the last one was somewhere in Mampong, where a family also perished under the same circumstances. The fire service went in to have their investigation. The nation was shocked as usual. Fire service moved in to have their investigation. Till date, we don't know what they found, what they recommended, and what should be done.
Wow.
And we are seeing that today. What we do know is the usual thing. They give us snippets of information that, they had burglar proof, and so they had ended up entrapping themselves. As a result of trying to secure themselves, they've entrapped themselves. But we don't know what fire service caused to be done from then on. That is there going to be a bulletin, an issue that from today onwards you can not have fixed burglar proof for all your your, if you like, access points, and that at least one point should be flexible enough for you to exit it. That thing never happened. And these things happen. I said I wasn't going to be charged, so I'm trying to maintain. If I keep moving fast, just draw my attention. These things are the things that the Bureau of Public Safety has time and again called for. That if you make these reports available, some of us, if you like, who have nothing doing, will munch on this report, extract useful parts, and educate the public. But the state continually keeps these reports to their chest, releases snippets of information, and nothing gets done. Look, after the Grenfell fire in the UK, do you realize what the government of UK did?
Ban all cladding, taking all cladding
straight
down.
away. That is a civilized society.
All cladding buildings
Yes,
come down.
that is a society that is progressive. What has happened to us?
Well, no, you are, why is it that most fires is always a matter of national security? I mean, why is fire situation national security?
Please, if the fireman PR comes on the line, ask him that question. We want to know what is national security about a fire investigation report. This is not the Flagstaff House or the Jubilee House that is burnt down, that we don't want to know whether they are doing some nuclear things under or they are doing some strange things in that house, so we don't want to know what even started the fire. But these are marketplaces, central medical stores, private homes. I just cannot understand. And you see, we continue to do this and our society is not developing. It's because of some of these things that we are not developing in leaps as we should develop. Number one, when we keep these reports, the only good thing about keeping these reports is that it will happen again. When you keep these reports, the other good thing about these reports are that you keep a lot more people in the dark and you're exposing a lot more people to hazards that could have either been prevented.
Is it just a culture that's come to stay, or there's some underlying reason? Because I also wonder, I mean, what is it that, will not make fire says, oh, it was because of A, B, C, D, and it was his fault and that fault, or, going forward, we advise. I mean, is it a culture
we have always said that safety is a responsibility for all. But we stop short as talking about accountability. There are people who are accountable for some of these things. And when we don't hold those people accountable, then we have issues. Number one, did you know that the fire service was working with an LI 1724? That was for commercial buildings, factories, and all those things. Now, in the wisdom of our legislature, they created another one. And this one did not just come. It was as a result of many, many, many years of advocacy. Then the House of Legislature sat down and passed another LI 2249. In fact, I forgot when I was coming, I had to bring it to here. In this LI, this one concerns residential facilities. This LI empowers the Ghana National Fire Service to demand and approve all building plans before they spring up. This LI 2249 empowers the Ghana National Fire Service to access any residential facility for inspection, and then also to certify it. And before you certify it, you must apprise yourself that this facility has appropriate access points. Appropriate access points. And if access point means entry and exits, it has fire extinguishers fitted in there. At least there are individuals in those facilities who can operate fire extinguisher.
Hold on there, because joining us now is the PRO for Ghana National Service, National Fire Service, James Kwarteng. James, you're welcome.
Thank you, Nana.
I thank you too for joining us at this godly hour, if I may say. James, with regards to the Akufoto fire, do we know anything?
Oh, Nana, we are about closing our investigation. So in the next few hours, I believe we'll be able to say something about what really caused the fire.
Okay, with regards to saying something, James, there's this culture where, with the fire institution, after investigation, come out and say, oh, well, we can't give you all the details because of security reasons, or, the report never seems to come out. And I have Nanaya Akwada in studio, who's a director of Bureau of Public Safety, and he's saying that, if you don't tell us what the problem is, we just go ahead and commit, the same problem.
Hello?
Hello, James.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was saying that normally after your investigation, you don't come out and give us recommendation that we found A, B, C, D, which was wrong, and therefore, going forward, don't do A, B, C, D. You seem to keep all the information to your chest. I don't know if it's a culture within the fire fraternity.
I would not say it's a culture within the fire fraternity. Every fire has an owner. And for them, they will usually apply and we give them a fire report. So for every fire that is investigated, the cause is found. But let me just add that there are fires whose cause have never been determined. It has happened all over the world. But at least in this country, most of the fires we have found the cause, and we have also appraised the owners of those fires with what we found out. The other thing we do is also for our safety team, the education team, we also let them know what we have discovered are the trends in the causative factors of the fires. And when they go out, they add it to their education.
If I can take you back to the market fires, I remember James Agalga, saying that, look, it was a matter of national security, and even though some foreigners or Americans came to investigate the fire, whatever it is that they saw, they were not happy to, disclose it. And everybody was kind of amazed. I mean, these are market fires, and after that, there have been so many market fires. Maybe if they had told us, exactly what they found or what was wrong, we could have looked out and educated ourselves. Or it doesn't work like that.
We may not have done it publicly, but for our market education teams, the things that we discover when they go to the market, we have market education teams, we have people, we have set up a few postings, some major markets, and these are the basis for their education. What we normally do is that sometimes before the market even closes, they go around to ensure that people who have left fires unattended have put them off, those who have put certain gadgets on and all that, they ensure those things are checked. So it really may not be that we don't say it. We factor it in our education. Some of these things, like you said, the minister said some time back, some of them are a bit delicate, and we don't bring it out like that.
The gas explosion in Atomic, I don't know, hold on, have you seen the report for that?
No.
The Atomic Junction gas explosion, I mean, that was a national event on its own.
Maybe you should tell us what was the delicate.
Yes, that was also investigated, and the office that commissioned the investigation was given the report. And I believe that for such high-profile fires, white paper should be issued on it before it comes out. Until that is done, we have done our investigation and we have left it for the authorities that commission the investigation.
So what is it that will stop the next person from doing the same mistake if indeed you find something wrong or something that they were not doing? If you don't report it, how do I even go to a gas station and say, look, I heard on the news you're not supposed to add blue and pink and you're doing it, so you're doing something wrong? I wouldn't know.
Measures have been put in place. It's in terms of how we regulate the use of such filling stations, our supervision of some of these stations, especially the mixed-use ones. We are at all those things, and those are the factors that we are putting. Those are the measures we are putting in place to ensure that these things don't happen again.
But James, if I have a big platform and if I don't know about it and you're putting measures in place, are you going, door to door to put these measures in place? I thought you use somebody like me so that I can reach many people on your behalf. But if it's secret to me, how are you, getting this message across?
Well, Nana, you have a point, but.
But my next point is, Nana Yakwada was talking about the new airline where you are responsible, going, door to door, literally making sure that our homes are safe and we've done the right thing per your rules. There are people who may be doing things thinking they're doing the right thing, but if you don't come in with your expert eyes to say, no, this is wrong, you need to leave a door open, we burglar-proof ourselves and electrify, God, my boss says I can't even jump over my wall if something happens. So, are you doing that, and who is doing it? Going door to door to make sure we are safe?
Well, that LI, we amended the 1724 with the 2249. And, we have grouped in domestic premises. And what we are doing now, it was supposed to be a partnership between us and the private sector. And the certain modalities are being worked out for that to take place, because we're supposed to put people to go to do the house-to-house education. We are constrained in terms of personnel and logistics. So this partnership was supposed to help us to boost our strength and also with logistics. It was also going to come with the distribution of extinguishers to some domestic houses, detectors, and a few other things. So it's a package that we are rolling out, but it started with the promulgation of the law. So I believe that with time it will pass, even as we iron out a few things.
James, hold on. Okay, hold on. I have Nanaya Akwada in studio, who's like I said, director of public bureaus. Let me see if they are rolling things out and putting things together. So, is the bureau happy with it?
Well, I think, with all due respect, Mr. Kwati is just doing the same lip service that we've seen, in times past.
Please, I'm not hearing Nana well.
No, I have in studio Nanaya Akwada, who's the executive director, Bureau of Public Safety. Now, he was concerned about the lack of proactiveness of the fire service. So I'm asking him, listening to you, is he happy? So maybe if you raise your voice a bit.
So I was saying that with all due respect, I think Mr. Kwati is, continuing the lip service that we've seen in times past. Every fire has an owner, that is true. But there is a reason why procedure has it that after every fire service moves in there to conduct an investigation. There's a reason why, for instance, the place is cordoned off. The essence of investigation is to first of all gather facts, the details about the accident. We need to analyze the facts on the ground and then conclusions and probable causes of the accident. ultimately to ensure that they do not recur. If you tell us that the fire that occurred has an owner, and so you conduct an investigation and keep the report, that is not only evil, it is a sin. It is a sin of the highest order that the state agency and the state has been perpetrating against the people of Ghana. Why, as I speak to you, go to NTSB's website, go to the Chemical Safety Board website, go to AAIB website. They have published thousands of reports, some of them on facilities that you will call Class A security facilities. It's been published, and the recommendations are clear for everyone to implement and stay off the same path that previous people have gone through. Why should we in the first place commit resources to investigate a matter and keep the report? It doesn't make sense. Nana, it doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense. And it is a culture that is running through all our state institutions. Why? Ghana Civil Aviation. There's been several incidents. They keep the reports to themselves. I mean, the Transport Ministry, Factories Inspectorate Department. We are not asking you to come and name names of people who are culpable in factories that have led to accidents. We are asking you, just come and tell us how the accident occurred and what should be done by others to prevent it. We were here in this country just a year ago. 2 successive accidents occurred, and our investigations pointed to the fact that what happened at one company in Tema, only a few kilometers away, the same thing happened about a month on. But why should these things be happening to our country? It doesn't make sense to commit resources, taxpayers' money, into investigating an issue and keeping the report. It just doesn't make sense. We are better off not investigating at all, so that we all live in the dark. But you cannot have an investigation and at the end of the day keep the report and tell Ghanaians, the people with whom you are seeking, the people whom you are seeking to protect, you tell them that the fire has an owner, and therefore we should die because ours hasn't happened. Everybody should wait for his own fire. That is insane.
You get your own report. I hope never to own a fire. But James, under your tenure, is there any way you can change this culture? I mean, would the owners of these fires get upset if you come out and say, look, the fire that happened here occurred because of a gas explosion, so please put your gas outside? I mean, I don't want to own any fire, but I mean, would I sue the fire, say, hey, that was my fire? Why are you telling people how it occurred?
Nana, I think Nana Kwada is taking it a bit too far.
Well, because people have died.
What I'm saying is that we may not come out and say that this is the cause of the fire that happened here. Mm-hmm. But as part of our education, what's happened is always factored in, and people are cautioned on measures to prevent such fires. It may not be very direct, so you will think that we have kept it.
Is that not where we are losing? Is that not where James? But
so when I say every fire has an owner, there are people who apply for the report. They are the owners of the fires. But it doesn't mean that what is contained in the report are not told anybody. We factor it in our education.
James, let me give you an example here. I'm sure fires happen every day. Assuming a fire happens somewhere in an area, nobody heard about it, it burned, nobody died, and the owner wanted to find out why his house got burned, fine. But when it comes in the news and is major, like Atomic Junction, like Akuko Photo, like the Tema incident, those ones become sort of a national concern. I mean, for those ones, don't you owe it to us to say, look, as for the Akukufoto fire, ABCD happened. They left the iron on, they left the gas on, there was a bad wiring, so that everybody going to sleep will think, hey, let me go and check the iron, let me go and check the wires. I mean, those ones, I mean, you owe it to us, don't you?
We do, Nana. So we come out and we say that, look, we have discovered that electrical fires are rising. So please, let us check electrical items, gadgets, before we sleep. Make sure they are not on. Let us not leave fires unattended. Let us not, the way we put on our LPG, the way we put on the stove, the way we put it on and to put it off. And all these things are things that we have discovered from previous fires. So that's what I'm saying, that we may not be very direct.
But don't you lose the opportunity of effectiveness if it's not direct? If I, as a homeowner, don't look at Akukufoto and say, look, Akukufoto, you know, ABCD happened there. That's why that tragic thing happened. So before you go to sleep, check yours. But if you just come and say generally, oh, check your electricals or just check your gas cylinders, I won't even mind you. Why should I check it?
But Nana, isn't that what is important?
No, I think the shock.
What caused Akukufoto is this, and we will not say it's Akukufoto, but we say that, please.
Is the shock element not important in your work?
I believe that is the information that is more important, not just the mere mention of a place. Nana, that is what I believe. Let's not be too fussy about mentioning names, but if we are telling people, be cautious about this, do this, don't do this, they are all discoveries. They are recommendations from previous files. So the fact that we don't mention names does not mean that we don't tell what happened there.
I find it strange, but hold on for me, James. And so the education is going on. It's just that they don't pinpoint. So if you hear them saying, look, go and check your gas fires, it means it was a result of a certain gas fire. So they say there.
Look, I think, let me say that I think I share in his difficulty, in Mr. Kwatin's difficulty.
I'm not hearing another very well.
Mr. Kwatin, I said I share in your difficulty, in that you are working with an institution, you probably don't have what it takes to move that institution to deliver to the aspirations of Ghanaians and CSOs like ours. But you must let word reach them that, number one, we find your public education not aggressive enough. And that is true. As I speak with you, after the passing of, or the amendment of LI 1724 and adding on 2249, as with the Bureau of Public Safety, I have not seen any aggressive training, within the communities, any aggressive campaign within the communities. I have not seen it. I have also not heard it. But here I am, I sit here and I am with the Bureau of Public Safety. I interact with the Ghana National Service on very, very frequent basis. And I'm telling you now that I have not seen the fire service move in to do what must be done as far as 2249, LI 2249 is concerned. So if you tell me there's a program with private partners, and as I sit here, I don't know about it, I have every cause to doubt you. So I believe that you are PR, and so you are doing your PR work. But look, let's face what is happening on the ground. We were here when there was a gas blast somewhere in Takrady, Nana, if you remember.
Yes.
Where over 120 people got injured. Some also died. A few weeks on, we had the other one occurring at Trade Fair Land. Did you know that it was the same thing that occurred in Trade Fair? Within that period, what sort of education went on among people who were as it were,
discharging
gas? What education went on? What new rules did you bring into the industry? So when we say that you must publish these reports, publish them. You have just acknowledged that as an institution, you don't have all that it takes to move out there. So share that document with us so that we can assist. When you keep those documents to your chest, what happens is that you deepen the ignorance, you deepen or you aggravate the hazards around. And it leads to some of these things. And so for as far as we are concerned, we cannot, isolate Ghana National Fire Service, which is the primary agency that conducts investigation into some of these accidents, and talk about the citizenry. The Ghana National Fire Service is neck deep in some of these disasters, and I think it's a shame. Not to you personally, Mr. Kwate, but it's a shame to your institution. So when you move out there, when I meet them, I'll tell them. When you meet them on a daily basis, let them know that this is what civil society thinks, that Ghana National Fire Service is neck deep in these disasters.
Now, I'm going to get James, I'm going to get you to respond, but let me just take a quick break and then I'll get you to come and respond to some of these. Yeah, thank you so much for staying with us. Well, we are looking at public safety, emergency responses, and what to do. Nanayao just made some, some comments, and I'm sure it's only fair that we get James Kwating to respond, who's a PRO for Ghana National Fire Service. James.
Yes.
Thank you for staying, and I'm sure you want to react to Nanayao's concerns.
Yes. Nanayao has said a lot, and I also agree to some extent with some of his concerns. But what I will say is that most of the education that we do may not be given the publicity that it's supposed to have. So one may be tempted to say that we are not doing anything at all. He says he has had interactions with fire service on a regular basis. But I also see that, look, our offices are all over the country. If you go down there, the safety department, the safety units, if you go and they show you statistics of where they've been, places that they've visited, you also come to appreciate that even within our constraints, we have done quite a bit, even though we can always improve on what we are doing. So I about the making the reports public, it's something that probably management will have to take a second look at. But we thought that at least the ones we are using it as part of our education.
Well, we all disagree, and I'm sure if I open the phones now, many people will disagree. So go with public sentiment and make it notice. Just something that we can learn from, James. But I want to say thank you very much. I will make time so that we can have a bigger discussion on this safety issue. Thank you so much. I think I also respectfully disagree that you can't go and investigate a fire and keep it secret. And I'm sitting at home. Maybe the guys next door have the same issue. Maybe
you have to wait for your own fire.
Wait for your own fire and get your own report. So when you get your fire, you better be safe so you can get a report. And I think it's, but the neighbors, could they have done something? What do you do?
And under the circumstance, there was very little the neighbors could have done because we are talking a story building. And look, fighting fire is not
child's play,
It's not child's play. Trust me, it's not child's play. It's not. It's just not. So under the circumstance, there was very little the neighbors could have done, and without probably even putting they themselves in harm's way. What we should be aiming at, James and his men should be aiming at.
Can you help to break the door down?
Response. Yes, but that's where the fire is. If the door was available, the people would have used the door outside. So obviously the door was probably engulfed in, or probably the doorway was engulfed in fire. What we should be pushing for now is quick response time of the emergency services, especially fire. If they could improve, or they can improve on their response time, I think that some of these things we can, salvage a lot more out of it. Because look, research has shown that in fire situations, the people are killed by smoke before the fire scorches their bodies. Wow. So if people are, understand the chemistry of fire and what actually deals the last lethal blow, and they know that is the smoke, and they know that when there is fire, I'm in a room that is engulfed in fire, what I can do is to go down, because the smoke is up. If I can go down, or if I have a wet towel or handkerchief, I can put it on my nose and I can buy time. Maybe, just maybe, help may come right in time. And when fire service, look, I doff my hat for the firefighters. They are marvelous. I tell you,
if they get there.
Yes, I saw them Saturday afternoon in action in Tema, and I respect them so much. They know their job and they are very brave. If they get there, trust me, if you have been able to sustain yourself up to some time, you could get life, you could be saved. And so those education is what we are asking, that education must go down. And we cannot do education out of the vacuum. Make the documents available.
Well, let's repeat this. So when there's a fire, you're more likely to die of the smoke before the fire.
Absolutely.
So you're better off lying flat on the floor because smoke rises.
Yes, absolutely.
So at least you have enough air once you're down.
Yes.
And ideally, if you can dump a towel or a cloth, put it around your nose so that you don't inhale too much smoke.
Yes,
to buy yourself time, and hopefully
help will come.
Help will come. So I mean, these are some of the fire tips that if you're watching, just bear in mind. Just bear in mind that, and I think these education, they don't go out too often.
Well, yes, that's true. The education doesn't go out too often. And I understand, James, that they are constrained by logistics, funding, and all. That's why it hurts some of us when we still see them holding their reports close to their chest. Look, elsewhere, and I keep referring to civilized jurisdictions. This thing that has happened, within a few hours, someone is talking to the media officially. They give you interim factual reports, updates, before finally they publish the main investigation report. Kumasi killings, the police service. We sat down after 2 weeks only for regional minister to come and announce an independent investigation committee whose members are not known. And then it's been a couple of, they were given a month, maybe sometime next 2 weeks, the month will lapse. We don't know anything as I speak to you. The identity of those 7 men who were shot dead, we don't know them. As I speak to you now, whether they were really armed or the arms that they picked on the scene of the accident, whether it is tied to them, we don't know. And that's the culture that runs through all our state institutions that have to be accountable to us. They work as if we are at their mercy. And that is just annoying. We must not countenance these things. You use our taxpayers' money to deliver administrative justice to us, to deliver operating justice to us, and you tell us that we are at your mercy. It is, I can't find the words, Nana.
Maybe because we are not demanding the information. Maybe we also don't want it.
But 30 million people, Ghanaians, cannot go out there on the streets demanding reports. Definitely, it is CSOs, individuals with the expertise, with the know-how, with best practice, knowledge of best practice. We will call for these things. We will demand these things. And the state must make these things available. The continuous shelving of several reports in this country is a not. It's an absolute not.
Well, let's hope that the culture will change as we go forward. But indeed, what happened in Akofoto is just so tragic. And we urge the fire service that educate us, tell us exactly what happened, so that as we go to our homes, we make sure that such a thing is not hidden in our homes, ready to cause such a disaster. The number I always give you is 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001. That's Tanti's Fashion. They make my shirts for the show. And I think on Tuesday, it's Happy Eid to all our Muslim brothers who are going to be enjoying Eid. And I hope you have a nice piece of meat and enjoy some of your Eid food too. So happy Eid to all our Muslim brothers. Nana, thank you so much for coming. It's been educative.
Just remind the Muslims that Mary is 5 months pregnant. So they should, if they don't remember, as when Jesus is born, we also not remember.
You'll be giving birth very soon. So please give us some of your rice so that in 5 months' time, at the naming ceremony, you also come and enjoy. That's a good one. Thank you for watching. We'll be back to do this all over again.